Hi Flosstube, it's Teresa from Nerissa's Stitching Lifestyle in Christchurch, New Zealand. Welcome. Today is 7th of June 25. This is Flosstube number 51. It's said, giving you the date, it's Saturday here. It's really cold. We've been forecast for snow, basically for the next snow and rain and sleet and just miserable winter weather for the next week to 10 days. So perfect time for stitching and filming. Due to the bad weather, you will see the light reflections behind me in the stitching. Normally I can move the camera around and get rid of most of those, but there's just no good spot today. So we've kind of moved along so we don't get it as bad. It's a better here, and we kind of really only lose that one end, of course, from the light behind me, in front of me. Right, so we have lots to cover. We've got finishes, whips, Christmas stitching, and stash sampler starts. I'm ready to go. Apart from one piece of fabric, but that's okay. All right. So let's get on with, let's start with our finish, shall we? So, last week, I pulled out a simple gift spool from Jeanette Douglas. And this was a kit from Homespun Needleworks that was available last year exclusively. That one there is what the wrap around the spool looks like, and I pulled it out on my day off, and I managed to get it finished stitching. And sometimes when you finish something, you can't settle, or I can't settle on what I want to stitch next. So it was only morning tea time when I finished this, and I thought, right, I'm just gonna finish it, fully finish it. So I did. And here is the completed spool. I've got a couple pairs of scissors in it. It has 3 holes for 3 pairs. I just have a little wee black pewter I believe they were, pair of scissors in the top, a pair of lovely gold ones, and sampler stitcher in the beads on that one. And they just sit on the top. This sits beside my stitching chair. You may have seen, I was playing around on Instagram, and I did a little short. It wasn't the best, on finishing this, and kind of with some photos and a bit of film. It wasn't the best, but it did put up on my YouTube. But I thought, well, I'll just show it here anyway. So here we go. Just move. Let's have a look. So it's stitched on 36 count. What do you call? Dolly Madison from Needle and Flax. It came as a full kit. The threads were Wheats Dye Works, and just gorgeous colours. Now if we bring it further in, you can see all the little satin stitches around the outside borders. That's what I had to finish in the star the other day, and part of the spool here. And that was it. She was finished stitching, but she is gorgeous. We pull her along. That's her, and there she is there. She's gorgeous. I absolutely love her. Now I do believe Jeanette will be releasing this sometime in the future. For those that are keen to do it, they didn't get it, weren't part of the group and didn't get it as the part. Now we got the spools. I don't think the spools will probably come in the, you know, general release, but you never know. But a fun little wee stitch. Oops, don't want to poke myself with the little pin. I know, don't put needles and pins in your mouth. Okay, need to find that before I put it in my foot. And I've just found it, so that's good. So So I will upload some photos at the end so you can see some nice clear photos as well. But just gorgeous. Absolute gorgeous. Fun wee stitch. So here you go. This is another shot of what it looks like. Keep an eye out for future releases from Jeanette Douglas. But beautiful. Absolutely stunning to work on. So thank you, Jeanette. That was, I loved stitching on that. Okay, so that is my fully finish. I did try and get another finish, but not quite there. So I've been stitching on Scarlett House Icy Red. Tiny little wee sampler, but there's still a lot of stitching in it. I'm using my choice of colours, which was Canna Lily, and these are from Cottage Garden threads, hand dyed, 100% cotton. This was a gift from one of my stitchy friends. I think it was from Jude, I think so, in one of our exchanges. It's gorgeous. So made the most of it, and I've got more plans for the rest of that thread. But here we go. We are almost there, and I'm going to finish this either tonight or tomorrow at Stitchy Group. So I literally have KLM and then N to the, so there's one whole row of alphabet and 3 letters here. But I wanted to get this filmed before we lose too much light. This is being stitched on a scrap of 40 count, is it Decrepit, from number 12 Stitch Co. It's the bottom of, I cut it off the bottom of one of my other samplers when I finished it, and it's just perfect for doing these little wee smalls. It's folded in half at the moment. I'll be able to get a couple more cushions out of it, because that's what I'm going to do with this, is turn it into just a cushion. But gorgeous. So that will be close to a finish. Okay, so my next stitch that I've been working on is Harriet Salt from Hands Across the Sea Samplers, stitched on 56 count using 103 silks, number 648, which is like a deep burgundy colour. I love how this is coming out. So I've done a wee bit on this. This is my everyday stitch. So my one thread, or a few, I stitch before I go to work with this one. And when we last seen it, we had finished all of the letters and the numbers. I don't think I've started in here yet. If I had, then we'd only done this one, but I don't think I had. Excuse me. Thank you. She's playing with the phone call. So here we go. Working my way along. Underneath this is halfway. So we've still got another pile, different kind of leaf banner here. Slightly different one of these on this side, and then another one underneath. So 3 kind of big motifs to go, and then we're halfway there. Can't believe it. But Harriet is looking so good. Absolutely gorgeous. Loving doing this every day. Because I'd started it last year, the year before. No, my tag's gone. And had only really done the top, not even finished the top alphabet. So to be working on it every morning and to be almost halfway is, I'm really pleased with my progress. There's Harriet. So you'll see her until Harriet is finished. Right. We're just going to play a little bit of Tetris around here, because because we're going to run out of space very quickly. Okay, so our next project is Alice Clark, 1844. I had a father kind and true, from Cross Stitch Antiques, and this was released a couple of years ago, and I started this a couple of years ago. I mean, you see my whole progress, it's like, ooh, but it's okay. It's a big girl and I love my big samplers, so they do take a long time. Here is where I'm at. She is being stitched on 46 count hog bristle using 103 silk threads, and this is just some of the colors. Whatever I'm using in that Pacific area is in there, and the rest are in a little bag that goes in my project bag. Okay, so what did we stitch on? This one here. So we finished off this flower at the side, the pink along the top of this one, done the outline on this one, and started filling in the basket along the bottom here, because this one is going to stitchy meat. I don't know, I'm possibly taking this one to stitchy meat up tomorrow to work on, because it is my whip that I'm working on for this weekend. So we'll see if I can get this finished tonight, which is my goal for this project this time round. Then I'll leave it at that. If not, then I'll take it, because I can finish that, fill in, and maybe do the couple of strawberries up here that need to go on that one there. It's washing out a wee bit, I'm sorry. There's probably a true colour there. But we're at the bottom of the pattern on the right hand side, left hand side, left hand side. I'm slowly making progress. She's beautiful. I love working on her. We're just going to pop Alice over here. Sorry, we'll keep moving around a wee bit today. Okay, our next one that came out for a bit of play. I've got some cats coming in and out. Was Scarlett Warrington from Needlework Press. This one was another exclusive from the Homespun Needlework Facebook group. And she's a big girl and she is beautiful. So she's been stitched with called for weeks dye works. I am stitching her on 46 count. I do believe it is hog bristle. Yes, from Fox and Rabbit Designs. Okay. And here is where we are up to. So I didn't get a lot of stitching time on Charlotte. I have managed to fill in the grass area that was here. I'm sure it was a tiny little bit under here, but we're just doing a few threads every time we pick it up. And then I have brought the border up. I wanted to change. I was a wee bit tired of the green fill-in. So I wanted to, I know it's green again. Green and red, still working on the greens and the reds. But I wanted to start doing this so that I can start doing some of the flowers in the border. Just to have a bit of a change. But these probably about the right colours. So really happy. Wasn't a lot of progress, but that's okay. She comes out to play at least once a fortnight. So Charlotte will go down this side. Right. So my next one that I worked on was Embroidery, Everflowering Garden. This one is being stitched on 46 count up in the Essex from Fox and Rabbit using called for DMC threads. That's going to leave it here. And here are the lovely colours. They're gorgeous. I love them. So, we worked on a couple of pink things this time. We worked in this section here, and we got a little bit of green, but we got this plant here done. It just needs a bit of dark fill in the middle of those two flowers. And did I get the other peacock finished? Not quite. This peacock was completely finished, and this one here just needs his body. I've done all his tail. He needs his body, but I ran out of thread and it was 11 o'clock at night, so I was going to bed. So slow, steady progress, but progress nonetheless. I'm happy with that. These big ones are in no hurry. They just get them done as we get them done, but making progress is important. Oops. Okay, my next one, let's just pull out the other one, is another big one. Surprise, surprise. Sarah Brazier, 1829. She was the 2018 Queen of the May. And she's the one with the big deer. I am stitching this on 56 count with the DMC threads. The threads are getting a bit known for a while. There's a lot of stitching in these. Not exactly the tidiest. Okay, so this one I did make quite a bit of progress on. So we had the little trunk of the tree, and the same with this one, the trunk of the tree. So we finished all of this in the bird, this one in the bird, and we've done the basket there in the middle. And then I had some of the Goldie thread left, so I did start over here on one of the crowns. But I'm really pleased with that. And there's still some flowers here to fill in. This is where the name goes. And I'm going to brain has just stopped, seriously, really stopped. I'm going to change it. So I'm still going to put Sarah, but I think I'm going to put Sarah and my name in there. So I do want to change, sorry for the glare, change it, because it does say Sarah Brazier Mills and then the month in the year, and I just want Sarah in the year. So I'm either going to put Sarah in the year and then find something else to kind of fill in this part here, or I'm going to center her name a bit more, and I may even change the type of stitch that it's at. So I can do that. It's my sampler, or I can take Sarah's name off it completely. But I'm happy, really happy with my progress on this. I try and work on this one every second weekend, because I do want her finished this year. She's been going for several years and needs to be done, but she's gorgeous. And I'm going to say that about all my samplers, because I think they're all gorgeous, otherwise I wouldn't be stitching them. But Sarah is a fun stitch to work on. She's going to pop down there. Okay. Ooh. Right, so the next one that stitches got put into was Frances Mary Dickinson, Hands Across the Sea Samplers, exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks. I can't remember if they've got any left. It's being stitched on 40 count tabby cat, creme brulee tabby cat, with the 103 silk threads. And we worked up here on this one here. Didn't get a lot of stitchy time, so kind of got some of the branches done and started up here on the green leaves. So seriously, not a lot of stitchy time, but that's okay. It happens some weeks, and other weeks you get lots. So we're getting there. Back to finish. Bring this flower border down along the bottom. This here gets repeated over here, which has been started. So really 1, 2, 3 big motifs. The border, the bottom border here, and then the name. And I think there's 2 little pieces that go in here. Yes, there is. So 5 motifs to go. And Francis will be finished. And I'm possibly going to put in another one of my grandmothers into this one, because it's about the right size. I'm trying to make them roughly the same size so that they all kind of go together on the wall that I'm doing for ancestral wall. So we're going to pop that there. Now, the one I spent the most time on was And They Sinned from Examplars from the Heart. And if you remember last time, we've stitched all of this and we're now in this section down here. Okay, so that is full coverage. So she does take a little bit longer. She is being stitched on 40 count with the sampler threads and a couple of DMCs for the ones that I couldn't get. I love her colours. Okay, should we have a look? So if I come back here, here's the whole thing. Like literally the top is right here. And we're down here now. Oh, there's a thread on the floor. I need to pick that up. I wonder if I can do that. Okay. So this is what I worked on. And there's a lot of stitching in there. So to get it to fill in, this green grass has to be on a diagonal. And I've only done one shade. There's 2 shades of green grass. So this was all blank. We filled in the motifs and then started doing one colour. And then I'll keep coming and kind of work my way through the motifs. I did jump over here and start with part of this peacock here, and this is the part of the tall tree that the fisherman sits, or the hunter. He's next to the pond, and I need the pond to then be able to line up everything in line, so kind of have to go across and down at the same time. It's a little bit more complicated because I want to keep these in rows so I know exactly where I'm going. And not get out of alignment. So this tree is just the top part of the tree. It's got to come down to about here, about where my thumb is. But really enjoying stitching on this. This is another one that will finish this year. I'm just going to keep working on it until we get there. All of this here needs to be filled in yet, but that's nice easy stitching. Like tomorrow at Stitchy Catch Up, I can take that and fill that in if I want to. I don't know if I'm going to take this one or the one, like I said, that is my whip that I'm working on for this weekend. But love it. So pop here on that side. That is all of my whips. Just double check actually. Hold a moment please. 1, 2, Yes, that is all of my whips. Okay. I'm going to pause for a moment and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about Christmas in July. My plans for that, and then after that we're going to talk about stash sampler starts. So for you it'll be a second, for me it's going to be a few moments. Stash sampler starts. I initiated this in 2023. I had so many samplers that I wanted to stitch on, and I wanted to start, then I was prepping for Sampler September, and I just realized I couldn't start them all in that I wanted to in that short space of time. I already had way more whips than I do now. But I still wanted that start. I wanted to do it. I wanted to join in. And I decided that it wasn't, like I said, it just wasn't enough time in September, with Sampler September, to get everything done. So I decided I wanted to do August and September, because Christmas in July is in July, and then there was no big thing at the time for August. So I thought, right, this will work. And it got me to start 8 samplers. Now I was excited to start all these, and I'm still excited to work on them all, because that first year I chose really big projects. I learned for the second year, and I had a mix, and I'm going to show you them now. So I'm going to show you what was started in Stash Sampler Starts 2023, and then we'll do 2024, and then I'm going to show you what my plans are for 2025. And yes, I'm still going to start some samplers, always. Okay, now these are probably going to be out of order because we've already had it knocked over by the cat. Last ones. All right, so we're just going to grab a bag and we're going to look at it. Okay, so in 2023 I started Elizabeth Furness from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I love this one. And then a lot of other people also started in the same year. And then a lot of people stitched on it in 2024. And when there's lots of people stitching on the same thing, it kind of puts me off. Not that I don't want to stitch on it. It's just you're seeing it all the time in social media. So you're seeing it on Flosstube, you're seeing it on Instagram, you're seeing it in the groups. Then it's like, I want to start them with everyone else, but I don't necessarily want to work on them at the same time as everyone else. So Elizabeth Furness, she was being stitched on 40 count Lakeside Vintage Sand Dune. Now I don't think that's what I stitched mine on. Let's have a look. No, 40 count, a linen that I dyed myself, a mixture of tan and browns. And I'm using the DMC threads. And this is where I'm at for Elizabeth Furness. So not a lot done compared to the whole sampler for almost 2 years. That's pretty sad. But you know what? They'll work, some progress, they'll whip. So I'm not too worried. It will get its turn where it is one that I'm right, that's going to be finished now, and we're going to work on it. Other than that, I do pull it out kind of every 6 months and do a little session. Doesn't need a good iron. Sorry, I didn't iron any of these before we started. So there was one of the whips. Okay, so this is from the first year. And like I said, they were big samples. So I'm just going to kind of make another little mess over there. Alright, Elizabeth Harding from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I love this one. This one, we zoom right in. All of this red stitching along here and down the sides, in the borders here, all the way around. It's eyelet stitch. I love eyelet stitch. This is on 40 count Idee from number 12 Stitch Co. This is one of my only projects that's on a scroll rod. And I'll put the book behind it. We've gone across the top and started coming down, and literally this has not had many stitching sessions. And this is the eyelet stitch row. But I do love this, how this is. It's going to be beautiful once it's done. And look at that big red house. And I love these roses at the bottom. Can't wait to get to those. But we're currently way up here, so we've got a little while to go yet. But Elizabeth, it will look beautiful up on the wall. Let's have a look. Look, DMC threads, and half of them aren't even on the scroll rods yet. Or the floss drops, I should say, sorry. Because we haven't used those colours yet. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not moving too much stuff around. Sorry, guys. GH 1857 from, is it Soed? Oh, I can't pronounce that. Simon de John Van Wyzen. It's the one that's all the blues and the neutral colours. I love this. I love stitching on it, but I haven't pulled it out in a long time, and it does need to come out. 40 count Russian caramel from number 12 Stitch Co. with the DMC threads. We should have ironed all of these. So we have top, down the side, one little piece, the gate, and the tiny bit of the start of the house. It's really hard to see. It does blend in, and it's supposed to. Put it probably there. It's probably pretty close. You can see the stitches there. So a long way to go with that one, but not worried. I knew they were big samplers, and I knew they wouldn't get done in a very short space of time. Okay, another one that we started in 2023 was Let Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. I was part of her Patreon, and this came out in her Patreon in 2021. So I waited 2 years to start it. So, you know, what's another several years to finish, to stitch it and finish it. Now, this is where we're at. So this was a stash sample start. It still is. But I also have brought it into my birthday whips, which I do need to get on with, to stitch with Tanya, who's doing Let Love Rain. And this is gorgeous. So we need to pull finger and get on with this one, because I really would like to have it done, but no hurry. We get there, we get there. There's always at least one that you start that just, it pulls you, and it's the one that you want to work on, and you will get to see that very soon. Okay, another favorite that had been in the stash. I bought this pre-COVID. I don't know, it's been out for several years, and I finally started it in 2023, and it's the Dutch Beauty. Get that reflection off it. This is gorgeous. So stitching it with the called for DMC threads, and it is on 46 count up in the attic from Fox and Rabbit. Oh, kick the stand, sorry guys. So if I come back here, this is the top left, and I've come all the way down this wiggly line here. You can just see is the very bottom of the sampler. So row 1, row 2, and row 3. I was going to go across, and I have made it to the middle. There's the middle there, and I have pretty much finished all of that part of the row. I think there's only a few little bits and pieces, and you know, shield there to finish. But I kind of got a bit bored of that, and I came down. I wanted to do this row here. Mr. Bunny needs to be filled in, and then I came down the border because I wanted to be able to put the base work of these in. This was a whole yard of fabric, and it was a lot to try and stitch with at the time, and I wanted the other half of it to do my other sampler. What am I doing it on? I just showed it to you earlier in the video. Is it Alice? No. It must be. Or is it Everflowering? It might be Everflowering Garden. Everflowering Garden because it's 46 count. So there we go. That's the Dutch Beauty. So that's where we're starting at. Okay. Alright. So the next one that was started in 2023 was Hannah Campbell from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. This is where we are currently at for Hannah. So not quite halfway, but we're getting there. She's been stitched on, oh my gosh, sorry, some of my tags have come off my fabrics. I need to sit down and play with them. It is being stitched on 46 count vintage sand dune lakeside linen using 103 silk threads. So I bought it as a kit from Traditional Stitches, I believe. I think I got mine from. And I do love how Hannah is coming along. Okay. So another big one, and you've just seen it earlier in the video, that I started in 2023 was I Had a Father Kind and True by Alice Clark. And here we are again, where we're at. So this, just to give you an idea, this little castle here took me about 10 stitching sessions just to get that little part there done. There's a lot of work in this sampler. And it never looks like you get much done, but even those strawberries here, there's almost 250 stitches in one of those. So it does take a little while to get these guys worked through. I'm just going to drop that on that side. Okay, and my last one from that year that I started was And They Sinned. Okay, so if you remember from earlier on, and I know if it seems like I'm repeating, but I'm just trying to show you what I've done. We're in that last little quadrant, as you remember, right down the bottom here. So this was the one that mostly called to me out of all of those whips. Once I did them for that first year of starting them, and then the second year I worked on them a little bit during the year, and when it was Stash Sampler Starts time again. But this one is the one that I just, every time I'm, oh, what am I going to stitch? This is the one I want to pull out. So that's why this will end up being finished first out of all of those 8. And then I'll pick another one out of that group that I will concentrate on. Okay. So 2024's Stash Sampler Starts. I kind of wised up a little wee bit, and I'm going to say that. So I did some bigger ones, and I did some smaller ones, and some medium-sized ones. So out of the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 starts from last year, I have finished 3, almost 4. Like literally tomorrow or tonight I'll finish that 4th one. And you'll know what it is as soon as you see it. Okay. I'm going to just go back and forth with this lot because they're all over here on the coffee table. Alright, so one of the ones I finished, or started and finished from last year's, was Sarah Milthorpe, Hands Across the Sea. Sorry, it is in the bag. It's I'm sending this off to a friend. She'd like to stitch up. And here is mine. I stitched it on 40 count. I dyed the fabric myself, and it was a stitch along. Was this one a stitch along? No, this one wasn't a stitch along. Sorry, that shadow's really bad, isn't it? This one. One spare board at the moment. There we go. There is Sarah Milthorpe all finished. So yay. Alright. The next one that got stitched and finished was A Heart Remembers from Blackbird Designs. So see what I mean? I did a medium and I did a smaller one. This was a smaller set and it still had lots of stitching in it. And there it is there, stitched on 40 count with the called for DMC threads. Oops, that's a bit washed out, sorry. There we go. So really happy. These guys, I have the frames for this and the other one I started. That I just need to get them finished. Crazy. Okay, the next one was from Needlework Press. Mary Elkhorn 1764 Sampler Series, and I stitched, first one I stitched in the series was the scissor holder, and it's stitched but I haven't assembled it. Slack, isn't it? I should have done it the other day when I did the other one. Here it is here, and it's gorgeous. It's gonna be beautiful on its scissor roll. Okay, so part one, if you like, is done for that section. Okay, so that's the three I did finish. Here's another one that I started last year and haven't finished yet. Haven't actually pulled it out and stitched on it this year. That's really bad. And it is called Sheep May Safely Graze, Alice Smith, 1841, Victorian Rose Needle Arts. And this is the one that has a beautiful big rose border and then the sampler in the middle of it. I love this. I love them all. That's why I'm stitching them, isn't it? So here we go. This is stitched on 40 count salted caramel number 12 stitch code, called for DMC threads. And, oh, I love the colour on it. But I haven't picked it back up, not yet. We'll get some love soon. But at least it started. When I'm ready, I can pull it out and work on it. Okay. Another one that got started last year was Scarlett House, Jane Cowie. Love this one. Not that I've got much done on it. It doesn't even look like much of a sampler. Oh, that's okay. I know where the top is because the top has that on it. And literally, I've done the bones of the border. That is up, and that little bit up there. So this definitely needs to come back out. But I've got those couple that I really want to finish first before I pick another couple to concentrate on. So that's Jane, and Jane was from the Scarlett House. What's it being stitched on? Sorry, losing concentration. Eggshell by Fibre on a Whim. Gorgeous fabric. Okay, there's three more. Bring them over here. Alright, so another one that was started last year, the Stash Sampler Start, was from GGR, Jane Southwood, 1836, which is this one here. Gorgeous. I love it. Love, love, love. Alright. So this one is being stitched on Decrepit from number 12 stitch code 40 count. Yes. Using DMC threads. Where are we? Top. And that's that. Just the little flowers in the top corner there. And a bit of border. So a long way to go on this one as well. But that's okay. Right. The next one was Lucy Barber. Hands across the sea samplers. Haven't stitched on this one either since I started it. What did I stitch this one on? It's 46 count. I have it here. I bought it as a kit, so it will be Wood Smoke from Tabby Cat Linens. Oh no, 56 count, sorry. 103 silk threads, and that's my little wee start. Not much. That's okay. There we go. Lucy. Oops, losing thread. Right, and my last start from last year was Scarlett House Icy Red Sampler. Now this really should have been finished, but it's the one that I will finish tonight or tomorrow. So, when I finish this weekend, I'm going to say this weekend, because if I don't get it done tonight, it's going to be a wee bit of editing in this video. It will mean I have so far finished 4 out of last year's 8 and nothing out of the year before's. Here's the year before's list, and here's last year's list. Okay, so before I show you this year's starts, plain starts, everything that you've seen will get touched during stash sampler starts, because the other side of it that I do is stash sampler stitching. So because these were all part of that starts process for the last 2 years, they will also come out and be worked on. So I'll do new start and 1 or 2 whips in the same week. Okay, if that makes sense. So that they're if they were started in week 1 of, so 1st of August they were started in 2023 and 2024 and not completed, then they will get worked on as well as the new start. Make sense? It does in my brain, let's say that. Okay, I'm going to clean this up and then I'm going to show you the last part. Right, so the final part, stash sampler starts 2025. This year, the list, I would like to start 10 samplers. You're going, but there's only 9 weeks, Nerissa. 9 Fridays in August and September, from August the 1st to the end of September. But I couldn't decide. I couldn't drop one of these. So I decided I'm just going to do 10. It's my stitching, my rules, as people say. Okay. So I'm going to take you through what my planned starts are. Now don't be shocked. They're all samplers in one form or another. Over half are big and the other half are reasonable sized. I don't really have any minis. No minis. I would say BAPs and big samplers. Let's go with that. Okay, first up, and this has been in my stash for so long and I have to do it, and I really want to do it. And it's from Hands Across the Sea Samplers, MH1656, My Beloved's Gift. Now this is a reversible band sampler from the private collection of Nicola Parkman, and I love this little band sampler. There are so many different specialty stitches in this that it'll just challenge my brain. Then rather than just all cross stitches. There's lots of back stitch, lots of double running back stitch, lots of satin stitch. What else does it say? I haven't got my glasses on. Let's have a look. running stitch, double running stitch, back stitch, satin stitch, Montenegrin stitch, diamond upright stitch, diagonal cross stitch, sorry, and 2 variations of reversible cross stitch. It's suitable for intermediate to advanced needleworkers. Excuse me. So this is probably my most challenging one that I'm going to start, but I've been waiting so long to do this. I am going to stitch it on 40 count, a piece of fabric that I have dyed myself. Here's a good press before we get started. There's probably about the right colour, but when you see the colours, oh my gosh. I am doing it on the DMC threads. I was going to do the silks, but just turned out too expensive, especially when you have to get them brought into New Zealand, you know, so dear. But oh my gosh, look at these lovely colours. I can't wait. And they all, I've done a tester, and they all stand out on this fabric. So can't wait to get started on that. So once again, MH, what are we? 1656, my beloved's gift. So it shows it the front and the back because it's a reversible stitching as you go. I don't know if I'm quite going to do the reversible stitching. Some parts I'll have to, but there's no guarantee I'm doing reversible stitching because it will end up being framed. Right, so that's number 1 that will get started. Sorry, I have a couple in each bag. Number 2, another hands across the sea sampler, and you will see a lot of hands across the sea samplers. I have a huge hands across the sea samplers collection. So Louisa Collimore, another Bristol orphanage sampler. Now I am going to stitch her on the same fabric that I chose for Harriet Salt, and I am going to stitch her with the same thread. And the reason why is not that you guys can see, but if I turn that slightly out, that door there at the back leads to my bedroom, some bits and pieces, but there's a tiny wall in my hallway and it's about 1 metre wide, and I'm going to make that my red sampler wall. I'll straighten you back up, sorry about that. So I have Harriet, I have Louisa, I have Mary. Maria is in a different colour, and that's fine because she goes the other way, so she can go along the top. And I want these guys in down the sides, and I've got 3 oh, I'll just go get them, hold on. Okay, so I have 3 more single coloured ones that I want to stitch. These are 2 of them. So Anne Grimshaw, and this one actually has a name. It's something Museum Sampler 1826. It is a prima of Copenhagen. So I have these 2, and I have 1 more. It's just in the bedroom. I'm not going to go and fish that out. And I know in my head how I'm going to display them all out, and that's what's going to go on that wall is the dark burgundy and these guys. But these are not part of Stash Sampler Starts. You just got a preview of probably next year's. Okay, so that's start number 2. They may not be in that order, let me just say that. It will depend on, you know, those Fridays and what's happening. Oops. I just want to close that up so I don't lose all the threads out of there. Alright, so next we have is it that one? Yes. Okay. Maria Ceron, C-E-R-O-N, 1830. This is a sampler that my friend Judith nabbed for me when she was in Attic Needleworks, because I'd seen it on their website, on their one of their floss tubes, and Jean was stitching it and I loved it. And I'm going to stitch it. This is my chosen fabric. I'm going to show you in a minute. This is my chosen fabric. Caramel, is it Macachito? From Fibre on a Whim. Now, this sampler goes this way, so it's longer than, rather than taller, which is great because you always have to have some different shaped ones. Okay, I am stitching it. It's not the wrong threads. This one's the threads for that one, with the called for sampler threads. Now I have chosen to do it in, you have two different versions. You can have the classic Colourworks bright version, or you can have the more faded muted version, and I've chosen the faded muted version. And when I say that, it's like this. That's the faded version, so the colours that I like to stitch with. That one there is the bright section. I'll try and insert a photo here. If not, it'll be at the end of exactly what the sampler looks like. But it has 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I can't wait to get started on this one. Can't wait to start on any of them. It's gorgeous. So 40 count. It's going to be lovely. Right, we're going to pop that one there. Okay, my next one is an old sampler. And it is from Family Circle Cross Stitch book. Now this was published in, I did find it earlier, and of course your brain forgets the minute you push record. 1993, ages ago, eh? Before my kids were born. Right, and it's just called a traditional sampler, and that is it there. So it's all DMC threads. Here they are, very muted colours, which is nice. I love the pop of the blues though. Can't wait to see where they're going to come in, because you can't really tell. Other than there's like one flower over here, and I think there's more than that in that sampler. And some greys, but definitely muted colours. So a bit like Dutch Beauty. They'll go nicely together up on the wall. So I dyed my own fabric for this one. Pop that in there for a second. And she's a real turmeric colour. And I love it. I love how it's turned out. And the colours stand out really awesome on it. Right, they're all going to jump. There's one I was a little bit worried about, but when I looked through the sampler to find it, it is surrounded by other colours, so I think it will work fine. And if not, I can go a shade darker or a shade lighter, especially with them only being DMC. Especially with them being DMC. I shouldn't say only being DMC. I love stitching in DMC. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful colours. So that is start number 3 and 4. So hold on a moment. Sorry, there's a little bit of fluffing in this one today. I just want to get it all out there. Okay, the next one is a Blackbird Designs sampler. And I'm just working my way through the Heart Remembers book. So our next one is a Heart and Home patchwork sampler. He's a little sweetie. And I say little because it's little compared to my other chosen samplers. Okay. This one is going to be stitched on a piece of 40 count vintage mocha. And here are the called for DMC threads. I'm not doing it as a patchwork. I am doing it all as one on one piece of fabric. But those colours stand out beautifully on that. So I can't wait to get started on this. I can't wait to start any of them. And I'm going to say that several times while we're doing this. Okay. And I know I'm going probably a bit fast, but you'll get to see these all again very soon. I just want to get it out there. In case other people want to start. Okay, let's just have a little look, see what's that one. Okay, another one that's been sitting in my stash for a long time is Elizabeth Bevan 1835 Hands Across the Sea sampler. Now this is not, I would say not my normal style, not my normal colours. Neither is the band sampler, but they're calling me in at the moment, so we're going to go with it. Gosh, I'm getting hot and flushed, aren't I? But look at this one. Look at it. Look, little people everywhere, little birds, animals. Love the little pony, the girl riding the pony. There's so much hidden in all these borders. All the way around. Lots of birds. Stripy grass, that's hilarious. Yeah, just lots and lots of little wee thing. The little boy on his stall as well on the other side. So I can't wait to stitch this. Yeah, like I said, been in my stash for a long time. So I chose for this one Russian Caramel 46 count from number 12 Stitch Co. DMC threads. But lovely colours. The nice gold and deep colours. And the greens are so cool. And look, splash of blue, splash of red, splash of gold. And then there's that tiny little bit of pink. There's not a lot of pink that I can see in it, but it doesn't mean that there's not a lot of pink other than the flowers. Now here, here, and here. There's no other, not that my eye can see at the moment anyway. A lot of pink, but no, my luck, there'll be some hidden in there somewhere. But that's okay, because I have another sampler that makes up for the lack of pink. Alright, so the next three I've purchased this year. So they haven't been in my stash for a really, really long time. But they're all three that I fell in love with when I first seen them. So I had to get them. Which meant they became my stash. Which means I can start them. I'm so excited. Okay, so of course, like everyone else, I want to start the Queen of the May. Elizabeth Stent, God, can't say that. Stentson, 1854. She's the 2025 Queen of the May. Isn't she beautiful? And I know everybody's starting it. And I'm going to start it. She may not get a lot of stitching in, but she will get started. Because then when I'm ready to, I can get her going. So I chose DMC thread on Antique Lace 46 count from number 12 Stitch Co. And here is all of the beautiful DMC colours. And she's going to be gorgeous. I did order mine from direct from Nicola, and I got the petals and stuff, and I have chosen my fabric. I just need to, that's what I should have been doing today, was probably making a couple more project bags. This is my fabric, so this is going to be my, oh dear, I might be doing a lot of editing today. Here's the panel, panel's here. Here's the panel. This is my outside fabric. And this, which is like a roses wallpaper, and it is beautiful. Make sure I get it up the right way. Yes. And that is going to be in the inside of my bag. I love it. I absolutely love it. I did buy lots of this. So there might be some other things I'll make out of it. Okay. So that is Elizabeth. And we're just going to call her Elizabeth because getting that other word out at the moment just doesn't work for me. So So that's okay, easy Elizabeth. 2 to go. Okay, the second to last one is a stitch along that I'm going to do with Susie and Anna. Anna purchased this and then showed me and Susie, and we both I immediately bought it and Susie bought it a couple of days later. But we're all going to stitch it. Are you ready, girls? Alright. What are we? Anise Curvure. I think that's how you pronounce it. 1896. It is Reflex Dessoir. And she is beautiful. She has the most amazing border. Lots and lots of detailed flowers. It's like a when you look at it, it's like an oil painting or a watercolor painting. I would have said a watercolor painting actually. Gorgeous butterflies. I love the scene in the middle here. I'm not too keen about this. I like this part, but not this. I may change that around. The wording is in all French. So I'll decide whether I'm going to leave that or whether I'm going to change that. Haven't quite decided yet. So I dyed a piece of fabric because I thought I had a piece of fabric chosen, which was a lighter colour, but it's not big enough. My bag just fell out. DMC threads, beautiful colours. But I dyed this piece of fabric. So it's stitching made up tomorrow. I'm going to look at just the plain linen fabric and see whether I like that better. If not, I'm going to stick to this colour, which everything will pop on. There's not a problem there. It's just whether I want to stick to this background fabric. So that will be fun. So I only bought this a few months ago. So 2 newish projects there. And my last one, which was number 10, which is the one that I want to start it and I just couldn't not. It's got to be started. Whether it's on the, you know, the last day in September, because the others will all be started. I am going to stitch my stitching album from Jeanette Douglas that was re-released for National Needlework Market this year. If you didn't get it this time round, I believe she's going to release it again. But it is beautiful. So you stitch several patterns and you make a booklet out of them. Sorry for the noise, flip through. So here's like the cover pages. I'm going to change it a little bit. Like I want mine more centered and, you know, a bit more of the sort of decorative colours around it and stuff like that. Which Jeanette does say in here, you know, she shows a few examples. I'm not going to show them all, but here's another page out of it. So there's like little samplers, specialty stitches and different threads that you use. Now to try and get the Gloriana threads that have been used in this when she produced it is very hard, especially here in New Zealand. So I went to one of my local needlework stores, Art and Frame, and I spent a little while there going through and looking at colours, deciding what I wanted. I've still got to pull out my thread, my fabric. Sorry, I've just got to cut it off the meterage roll. I just haven't got there yet, but I'm going to show you. I chose a pile of Weeks dye works. Oh, they're just all tangled up. Now I haven't put these on a spool yet. But these are lots of the different colours that I've chosen. Because you don't use them all in the one sampler page. So some are, you know, it's a red base or an orange autumn base or a blue base page. So you can mix and match. But I chose some of these instead of going for the silks. And there's DMCs that you use. And beads. Rainbow Gallery. treasure braid, which I've got some of that. I just need to pull the rest of them out. But the colours are amazing. I can't wait to get this one started either. So that is my last start. It's a lot. There's some very big projects in there. But they'll be fun. They will be. I will enjoy it. You guys will enjoy seeing the progress. So, if you would like to join in on Stash Sampler Starts 2026, no, 2025. Oh my gosh, see, look, I'm already thinking about next year. 2020, and I've already got some I've pushed back till next year. 2025. I will be posting, of course, on YouTube. I will be posting on Instagram and on my Facebook. I will use the hashtags, just hashtag Stash Sampler Starts, and I'll put that in the notes below, as well as everything you've seen today will all be in those notes below. I will also use the hashtag September Samplers, Samplers Emporium. A lot of them are reproduction sampler. Oh, there's one more. Oh my gosh, that was only 9. I've still got one more. The most fun one. I just seen it out of the corner of my eye. That's what made me think of it. Yeah, a few of them in Stash Sampler Stitching. So once you've started it, you can post it. And then if you go back and stitch on it throughout the year, you can use the Stash Sampler Stitching as well as the Stash Sampler Starts hashtags. I know they don't work very well nowadays, but you can get around them and find your product. I'm just going to grab number 10. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is another really old one. It comes from, and this is actually number 9. The stitching book from Jeanette is number 10. Okay, so this one is number 9. And it's from the Sampler Antique and Needlework booklet. This is from the publishers of Just Cross Stitch. And it was published in, oh my gosh. See, once again, I did have this in my head. Moment, please call it. Yeah. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on the secondary market, because that was where my friend found this for me, and she's like, this is perfect for you. And oh yes, I will. I'm happy. This one is 1994 copyright. In the inside cover, they've called it Sampler and Antique Needlework, a Year in Stitches. So you should be able to find it. There's a beautiful sampler there. That's not the one I'm stitching. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And I'm going to stitch the needlework casket. So it's like top, front, back and 2 sides panels. And I don't have that frame stand thing to put it on, but I do have this one here. Tag still on it. It is a wooden sewing bamboo sewing box. Open up. Oh, there's even some I bought those the other day. DMC threads. And it's all in here. I'll do something else to go on the inside, but it will go on the top, the front, one side, 2 sides, and around the back. So stitching it on 40 count with, it's my piece of 40 count, just a cream. And honestly, I'm using, because it's only tiny stitching, I'm using a lot of my older DMC threads that are still on the bobbins for this one. Because it's very small stitching pieces at a time. And it's just sections, so it's not a big piece. But yeah, so it is a sampler. It is just a slightly different sampler, a bit like the book, slightly different. there he is again. Can't wait. I'm so excited about doing all this year again, because I try not to start too many, and I say that because I have so many on the go, but I also have a huge stash that I still love and I want to get started and up on the walls and in pin cushions and caskets and everything else that we can stitch on. This is my passion, this is my hobby. It keeps me sane. You may not think so, but it really does. So have a think about it. If you want to join in, we'd love to have you. I know Lee from Creative Lee has hers ready to go. Not sure when she's going to publish her video. I will remind you as we go through June and July that this is coming. I may even, as we get through July, start kind of show you the first 2 or 3 a bit slower on which order I'm going to start them in. I'd say that's probably what I'll do. I am going to try and work on a couple of the nearly finished or could be finished between now and the start of this. So between now and the 1st of August. And if I can get them finished, that would be really great, or really close to it. So some of my other whips that you've been seeing might just get pushed aside a little wee bit, so I can concentrate on that, so I can get them gone, which means they get more time on the start. But that's it. I now have another huge mess to clean up. It's the fun part about making these floss tubes. So thank you very much for watching. If you've made it through to the end of this chaos, I really appreciate it. Happy stitching. Remember, 1 stitch at a time. We'll get all of my whips done, and it will get all of my starts started. 1 stitch at a time. Happy stitching, Flosstube. Bye. And here is its home next to my stitchy spot with all of my favourite things.